the same connection. So this is very important to consider. Unity in the soul has to do with that uniformity in terms of reasoning in the intellect, uniformity or compatibility in terms of your emotions. How do you align your emotions align? And then in terms of your will. The next point is unity in the spirit, which I've touched already. Unity in the spirit, we have already emphasized the importance of getting married first to a Christian, then getting married to a successful Christian. Now, you can get married to a Christian. The Christian may be a successful Christian, but there is conflict of spiritual views. You guys don't seem to agree on spiritual matters. The guy believes something else and you believe something else. So there is a caution to find out a spiritual direction, a spiritual calling, a spiritual vision of the both parties. I'll give an example. There are people who got married to people and then tomorrow they became pastors. And then the conflict that comes in is, I never got married to a pastor. I got married to my husband. Now my husband has become pastor. I cannot handle that. It's too much and all of that. Conflicts are coming in because the person, he got married, even though the person started the calling. Then tomorrow now, the issues that are coming in is, I never got married to a pastor. Because he got married to somebody, then the person later became a pastor. And then I've talked about the issues of doctrines. The backgrounds, teachings from different churches or wherever you are coming from. This is the reason why in some churches and ministry, they insist on people getting married from the same ministry. They encourage people to get married from the same ministry to the point that sometimes they do a kind, they'll be trying to match brother and sister. From people are in love with some people, two of them in love with each other, but once they went to present themselves to the senior pastor, just because the person know that the guy was going to get married to this lady and they will not remain in that church, he blocked the relationship. He do everything to make sure that it doesn't work. To me, sometimes it is witchcraft. Okay, so spiritual alignment or unity in the spirit is very important. The most important is this spiritual connection. On the looks, beyond the level of education, if two people align spiritually, over and over again, the always been better and more promising when there is spiritual alignment. Another way to lay a lasting relationship is to make your courtship purposeful. So I'm already doing a transition to the next discussion for tonight because of time. For you to lay a solid foundation, you must make your courtship purposeful. You must be purposeful about your courtship. Courtship is the period between when two people agree to marry and when they actually do. So courtship is that period between when two people agree to marry and when they actually marry. So courtship is that period of preparation. A successful courtship is a necessary step towards a successful marriage. And involved in the process of courtship is what you have already learned with Coach Beatrice, premarital counseling, which is very important. The reason many people experience misunderstanding and all kinds of trouble in marriage is because they did not have a purposeful courtship, the quality of your courtship. Now, before I move forward for us to see some of those things that you must do to make your courtship purposeful, let me say that courtship is different from dating. Courtship is different from dating. Courtship is a period where you are learning things about your partner, trying to discover your partner, who she is, where does she come from, what is her background, she is from which family, she is from which tribe, what's her level of education, what's her spiritual background, all the findings that you need to know about the person and getting to know each other and seeing if you guys can truly work together. Remember the scripture again, two cannot work together except they agree. So this time of findings, this time of talking together, spending time together is a time where we call courtship, praying together, doing all of those things that we are going to see shortly. But as opposed to dating, the worldly people see dating as a kind of whereby you take your partner out and then you guys can go somewhere, sometime in hiding, and which some practices are done acceptable. So there is no such thing as Christian dating, because once you talk of dating, dating is the person is trying even to test the pudding to know what is in the package. And sometimes they say, how can you just get married to somebody without first of all discovering the package or knowing how the person, how do you tell whether the person is active sexually? How do you tell whether there's even before marriage and something? Those are all the practices that go with dating, which is opposed to Christian courtship. So the first thing to do in making your courtship purposeful is one, spend time talking together. Spend time talking together. To ensure qualitative courtship, you must create time to be with your fiancé, during which you share things about each other, your dreams, your interests, your ideas, your viewpoints, your calling, your assignment, your vision, what you intend to do in life. That is why it is important to spend time talking together, not just looking at each other and saying, oh, you are so beautiful, oh, you are like the purple, sweet purple, or you are like this and that. Beyond that, it is a time when you really discover somebody, because you can think that you know somebody until the person start talking. And most often when people get to know each other and they are preparing for marriage, when the person is not ready, do everything to hide a lot of information. So he makes sure that he doesn't talk too much. But if you listen to somebody talk for a long time and tell who that person is, it's true that somebody can fake, be motivational, and try to sugarcoat the tongue, but not so long. Spending time with some and talking will permit you to that person is. If you want to know if he is a serious Christian, listen to him talk for 5 minutes. I discovered that it is possible to separate an individual from his word. Everybody is a factor of his words. You want to know who he is, listen to them talk. You can rate somebody from his words. So if on the other hand, he is only interested in your physique, you will hear him speak things, nothing else by like only talking about how you look and all of. But talking with somebody, it permits you to know whether that person is a visionary somebody. It permits you to know how serious that person is. Is he hardworking? Is he the kind of things that he like and the kind of thing that he dislike? Once you talk, spend time talking together, you get to know what your partner likes and what your partner does not like. And that will help you to avoid stepping on each other's toes, which may develop into conflict. The next point is appear in public together. When you get engaged to somebody, when you people agree to get married, one of the things that is good and very important is for you guys to appear in public together. This is another simple but very significant element in making your courtship purposeful. As intending couples, you must make a time to appear in public meetings together, such as church services, wedding, matriculation, graduation ceremonies, public lectures, academic seminars, workshops, conferences. You people should appear in public together. Now, this is important because it permits you to be able to see how your partner he conducts he or carry her is or herself in public. Now, from there, you'll be able to advise the person and say, this is how you behave in public. This is how you eat in public. This is how you talk in public. This is how you carry yourself in public. How your partner to be response to issues in public. His behavior or reactions to annoying situations. This will be a signal of what the future will hold. For instance, if he or she lacks Christian character, you are heading for trouble by going into marriage with such a person. If you find out that for any social reason, such as height, age, educational differences, physical defects, personal courage, the way the person carry himself in public, eating manner, you are ashamed to appear in public with your future husband or wife, if you don't handle it during courtship, you may never make a good couple. If you are not comfortable with his educational background and the way he communicates, his English, his expression, or maybe the person has some kind of physical defects on his body, which makes you ashamed when you are with the person in public, that is a red signal. And so, these are the things pay much attention to in courtship, and you must make your courtship people who are married. Each time they're in public, one person is moving ahead and then another person is moving behind, as if it's a child that is following the order. And most often the one that is in front is walking very fast. In another case, the other person, he's not even proud. Those are red signals. But in making a courtship purposeful, you must take this into consideration of intentional communication. Intentional. And in the years gone by, in those years of Mabia, in those years, it was letters that used to characterize courtship. When you are in love with somebody, you write a love letter. You write some constructions describing some things about how the person is. I cannot remember those letters. It's many years ago, but I know. He said, when I think about your disposition, I am carried away by whatever. So there was communication, love letters. But we are not in the